Lag Game Club.
Welcome to the Nerd Lag Game Club podcast, the podcast where we play games instead of reading books. I'm Corey, and I'm joined by 4 party members today. Lauren.
Hey.
Tunza.
What's up?
Tony.
How y'all doing?
And Danboy.
What's up?
In this episode of the Game Club, we're going to celebrate our 1-year anniversary of the podcast and look back and reflect on the episodes that led up to this point. We've been through format changes, fun episodes, we've added sections, we've even learned something along the way. First, I want to personally thank everyone who has listened to us even just one time for all the support we've received. So thank you guys for tuning in on every episode. I also want to thank my party members for working hard by playing the games, doing research, and showing up each episode and bringing something new and exciting to the table. This is a bonus episode, so our format will be more relaxed in this episode as we just kind of talk about the past, present, and future for our podcast, ourselves, and our brand. That being said, does anyone else want to say anything before we look back on our journey thus far?
Not yet.
No?
I thought there was going to be more for you when you talked about leading in. I thought you were going to say something.
No, I was just if you guys wanted to say thank you or anything.
Oh, yeah. I mean, thanks for everybody who watches. I mean, we're only getting more better. That's
More better.
But yeah,
More better.
My
I love
favorite
that.
thing. If you've tuned in this long, you know I struggle to speak. And it's only part of my character. And I will not get better, guaranteed, throughout this.
You
So
won't
thanks for
get
sticking in.
more better?
Oh, I'll get more better than some.
Getting more better.
Yeah, I guess
I just want to back on Tunza here for a second. You said thanks for the people that watch
Yeah, they
the
listen, man.
podcast, man. They listen.
They listen.
Yeah, well,
I just said words are hard. You're gonna bring me down. Sorry. Thanks for putting audio in your ears, guys. Thank you. We appreciate it.
with your descriptive words, you let people imagine what everything looks like.
Yeah.
How I envision
More better.
words. I see every word spoken.
Yeah.
How can you see, man? You don't even open your eyes.
They don't know that, Tony.
They do
Not
now.
yet.
Jeez.
Yeah, so we can dive right into this. I kind of want to just take a look back at everything and start with our personal favorite episodes of the podcast so far. So we'll kind of just go around and talk about what episodes we enjoyed doing or which ones we think turned out the best or just anything that makes it your favorite, I guess. I guess I'll go first. I had a toss-up here. I have a really recent episode and a very early episode that I both really enjoy. So the one that's more recent is Paradise Killer. I felt like the flow of that episode was fun. We kind of got the format down now, so it's smooth, easy sailing. We had fun in the episode. We ragged on each other a bit, so I enjoyed that one a lot. And then I really liked Gardens Between episode, even though it was just me, Tunza, and Lauren. That episode was, I don't know, the most passionate. We were all super into it, so I enjoyed listening to it. It's actually man, these people love this game, where it's not it doesn't feel forced or anything along those lines. It's we generally all just fell in love with that game when we played it. So those are my 2 favorite episodes.
How do we want to do? We just want to go around the table.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll just
You
go
just gonna
around.
call us out, or you just want us to start speaking?
We
So
can-
I can go next.
yeah, well, I'll just call you guys out. So we'll start with Thunder
Okay.
and then work our way around.
Sounds good.
Okay, for my favorite episodes or episodes so far, I mean, it's either Batman or Sleeping Dogs. For me, it's kind of a toss up as well, because Sleeping Dogs is I was really invested and wanted to hear your guys' thoughts of that game. I've played it so long ago, revisiting it, and then I've always wanted more people to play that game so I could talk about it. So I was able to do that. And then Batman, I just think everybody was enthusiastic and had a lot to say, so I think it was really good. So those are my favorite episodes we've done so far.
I like Batman a lot too because Lauren actually came out of her shell in that one.
Yeah, she did.
because
Well, I think we've been doing a lot of progress like recently, just with everything, and like the structure's helping everybody get a chance to speak and
Right.
get like words off their chest. And it started just a couple months ago, so like I feel like we're in a better place now than and you could see it during those episodes.
Right. Right.
What about you, Lauren?
Favorite episode wise? That one's a little tough for me. I think Flipping Death was good because I do like the format we have now. I think it sounds better. All that stuff. But I did like the chaos, and that was the first like we're trying to figure this out. So I liked that one a lot.
I enjoy that episode because we like all step on our like each other's toes, and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
first podcast
Mm.
jitters.
Right.
yeah,
right.
yeah, for sure. You could tell like everyone just cuts each other off and stuff as they're talking. And then I was trying to think of one of the ones that like we didn't all agree on it because there was one and I can't remember which game we played, but it was like me and Dan went back and forth with well, the price is this much, and I'm like, well, I'd rather pay that much because of the story, and it was kind of a good back and forth. But the other ones I like the game, so I want to save that for kind of the game portion.
That sounds good. What about you, Dan?
So, by the way, I think that episode might have been Edith Finch. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I don't know. I kind of have a toss up between like my favorite games that we've played, not primarily just the episode in general. I really like the Sexy Brutale. I really like the story in that one. Same with Paradise Killer. Like those two games the most I really liked. But episode wise, I don't remember. I don't really have a favorite episode, but I like how we have progressed through our podcast and we kind of have the structure now. I know you guys kind of all said that, but I think our episodes are a little bit more structured and like thought out and actually built better than whenever we started. So I don't know. I don't remember whenever we started doing that whole
That
structuring, but
we started
recently.
on the
The blob.
The Blob was our first episode where we
Yeah.
added structure to it.
Right.
okay.
But yeah, I think that was a huge step for us just in the progress of the podcast itself. Just because after that, it doesn't feel as like, oh God, what am I supposed to say now? Or like, who's going to what? It's like bang, bang. We just bang it out until we get to like
Yeah.
our favorite parts. And then we kind of all just talk at random then, but it still doesn't feel as bad. But I'd agree with that. What about you, Tony?
I'd say it's a toss up between Flipping Death, which was our first episode, just because it was so new. We didn't really know what we were doing, but it was still fun. The game was fun, so it made it more interesting to figure this out. And then I'm gonna agree with Lauren and Tunza. The Batman episode, like that one was everybody like did everything differently. Like Lauren, she read all of those. She read and listened to all the tapes that she found, and she was hunting for those the entire time. And I've played that game multiple times, and I've never done that. So it was awesome to hear somebody else's perspective that was that willing to go out and hunt for those tapes and articles that were laying around in the world. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, it's funny because I collected everything, but like I just was like, all right, collected it, move on to the next thing. Didn't even really acknowledge my stuff in that episode, but it's like the collector and Lauren and getting information, which is pretty cool with her. But I think Batman was fun. That was a good episode as well. Any other episodes you want to talk about, or you want to move into our favorite games?
Favorite games.
Yeah,
Favorite games.
It's gonna
Yeah.
cross over that way anyway.
Exactly. Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about our favorite games. This is the games we actually like, top tier, like top 3, like out of all the games we've played on the podcast, or just maybe you have a top 1. But I'm going to break mine into 2 categories. The monthly episode that each person picks, and then we do like a shorter game mid-month. So I'm going to break up my favorite of each one. Starting with the monthly episode, I really enjoyed Cat Quest. That is probably one of the coolest games we've played. It's just an action RPG, but it's a pretty good world. There's a bunch of puns about cats, and I didn't expect it to be as good when Dan chose it, but once I started playing it, I was like obsessed with it, kinda, where I like maxed out my level and collected everything, upgraded all my gear. So that was like a surprise for me, kinda, but it's definitely my favorite monthly game that we've played. And then for short game, I'm going to go back to A Gardens Between, because as I think about each episode, I still remember specific parts of that game because it stands out to me so much. I just really love the way that it's told without any dialogue. It is like a very simplistic game, but I enjoyed just the environment, the world, the way it story tells. And then you just get to know the characters without them ever saying one word about them. So for me, that was like, for a short game, that one's just, I would say that's probably my top 10 games of all time, to be completely honest.
Ooh.
What about you, Tenza? Favorite games?
So like in a weird way, so I'm gonna break mine down like how you did it almost like cheating. I'm picking Sleeping Dog is one of my favorite games, and replaying that game, and it still held up for me. It like I didn't have like any issues where I was like, oh, I remember this, or when you get too far and you start remembering the story completely, like it kind of makes the game not as fun to play again or a chore. I had fun playing that again, so like I just re-solidified my choice of being that being one of my favorite games. So out of the mini games, weird one is the best game about death. Is I liked Lost Words Beyond the Page. It did it the best, and weirdly, we played a lot of games themed around dying or sadness and loss, and I feel like that game handled that really, really well, comparatively to all the other ones that were like it. And then a game that I wouldn't have picked myself, I avoided it myself, is Tearaway. Finally got to play the game Lauren recommended me forever ago. So those three.
I think that's a good collection of stuff, and I would agree with you. If I had to pick about death, it's Lost Words.
Yeah, like it's just weird because like we've had a lot of these like sad kind of games, and like out of the ones we've played that are themed around that or like just in that vein, that one hit the mark. And like when we have enough of a weird backlog of things where I'm like, okay, we've played this genre before, if that's a genre.
I don't know. Sadness, genre of sadness.
Yeah.
All right, Lauren, what about you? What are some of your favorite games from the podcast?
All right. So let's see here. Cat Quest. I love action RPGs, so that one was like, I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I was like, oh yeah, action RPG, we'll see. I really liked it. I played it in one sitting on the Switch, and it was awesome. The one that blew me away was Batman Arkham Asylum. You guys talked about it a little bit, and it was one of those games that when it got picked, being completely honest, I was like, man, I really don't even want to play this game. It's just not my type of game, it's dark, stuff like that. I don't know all that much about Batman up until that point. It was great. Like, I was so invested in this game, and I was like you guys said, getting all the tapes, listening to all this, looking at all the descriptions of all the people and like all the inmates and the villains and just how everything connects. It was just, that game blew me away. That was like one of the ones I was the most invested in, considering I didn't even want to play it at first.
Yeah, she became a Batman fan.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, as soon as I was like, we gotta go see that new Batman. Like,
You're
I
welcome.
like Batman. So that one was probably my top one of all time.
I also didn't expect her to walk away being the most like excited, like like Batman, like, oh shit, and, like she was down. She was down for the story. She said she never really cared for Batman before that, and it was like, now I understand.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
like really into the lore.
Yeah.
For sure, for sure. That was a big one. The other one that for main games that I liked more than I thought I would is Paradise Killer. I didn't know what to go in like expecting for that one, but it was interesting. I really liked the way they told the story. The art's super cool. Like it was a good pick for sure. Let's see. And then mini games. I got What Remains of Edith Finch. That was one of those games that I had heard like, wow, it's like super amazing, it's great, whatever. I played it, and as soon as I got done, I told Corey, I was like, that game is fantastic. Like, yeah, it's a little pricey if you don't get it on like a sale or something, especially for a physical copy. By God, I bought Corey one. It was like 100 and something bucks. But the story is just done so well. Like that's what their game is a story game, and it's just told fantastic. Like it's great. So that one was a big one for me. Lost Words Beyond the Page, like Tunza said, that one was a big art one for me. I like bioluminescent stuff and the pages that went into that. That was, one of those big things. And the surprise one for my last one for mini games was My Friend Pedro. So I went into this kind of the same way as Batman. I was like, it's a shooter. Like, I don't usually like a lot of side scrollers. I don't usually like a lot of like shooting games. That one was awesome. I loved that you could slow motion, like shoot two guns at once, shooting enemies, you're flipping through the air, like you're spinning to dodge the bullets. Like, it was awesome. I really liked that one a lot too.
I also like the development story behind that. That's like something that made me respect My Friend Pedro a little more.
For sure.
And we learned that from you.
Yeah, I did research.
I mean, this is the whole point of the podcast too, though, is to play stuff you wouldn't familiarize yourself with.
Yeah, or
to
like
step out your comfort zone.
if I
And it's
see
working.
Yeah, if I see My Friend Pedro, 95% of the time I would never even download it or buy it or whatever.
Same.
And then, as Lauren said, I started playing it and I was like, this is great. Like, it's
Mhm.
fast, it's fun, it's done well. So I would agree with that one. That's another good one. All right, Dan, what about you?
So I know I already said some of them. Didn't know we were gonna do it in like this way. But anyways, like I said, I really like the Sexy Brutale and Paradise Killer. I don't know, for Sexy Brutale, I really liked it just because of the story. It was kind of, I want to say it was kind of like all over the place, but like
Unique.
I don't know. Yeah, very unique. That's
It's-
what made me like really like that
There's
game.
there's
I
a
agree.
lot going on.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I like Paradise Killer too, because I mean, you're kind of just like running around everywhere, just kind of learning things. But I don't know, the story is what always like gets me, and they both kind of had their pretty good story. I also liked My Friend Pedro for like our short games. Like that one, I don't know. I didn't think I would like that game. Like I think Tunza kept telling me like so many times to play that game, and I was like, nah, I'm good. And then still got stuck having to play it. I was
That's
like,
why I
you know
picked
what,
it.
this is pretty cool.
hmm
I feel like that's usually how it goes for our games. Like I feel like we usually pick things that we've been kind of putting off.
Yep.
or like
So
one
that's
of
how I
us.
was with Cat Quest. That's why I picked Cat Quest, just because I've been wanting to play it, and I was like, yeah, one day I'll play it. And I was like, yeah, give me a reason to play it.
And then it was a
Yeah.
good choice.
Mhm.
But
Oh, it was such a great choice. I have such great choices.
I think it's funny how our games end up being like either one of us are like kind of interested in something or like somebody super passionate about it, as with like Tearaway, as with Sleeping Dogs, as with like Quantum Break and Batman. I haven't really chose anything that I'd be super passionate about. I've been kind of just picking like oddball choices. But but I just like that typically when we go into it, somebody's like super passionate about it, and I'm like so worried that someone's just gonna get completely shot down.
That's like the nerves, right? Like when I pick Sleeping Dogs, it's like, oh, like everybody kind of like we wait. Everybody was waiting a little too long to play it, and I was like, oh
Yeah.
man, we're gonna come down to the wire, and somebody's gonna force themselves and not experience it, or it's not gonna hold up like it did. And then I felt like it did. It hit. It ticked all the boxes of why I liked it in the first place, and then I was happy to hear that you guys also liked it.
All right, so Tony, you're last up for favorite games. Which what do you got on your side?
All right, so I have a top 3, but I also have an honorable mention. The honorable mention goes to Bastion. Like I was not expecting that game to be as good as it was. Like I really enjoyed that game. It was we played it on the Switch. It was really great. The story was good. You had different choices to make. I think we all agreed on that game, that we all liked it, and we enjoyed playing that. Then 3 would be Cat Quest. I was going into that game, I was like, Dan, I hate you, man. Like, why are you gonna make me play as a cat? And I fucking loved it. That game was awesome. Like, that game was really awesome. I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the cat puns, and I just enjoyed being a cat warrior, pretty much. You know, it was awesome. And then yeah, I have the tiger. Huh? Then number 2 would be Batman. I wanted to see if it held up because I played that on like the 360 when that game first came out, and it was still as good today as it was back then. And I'm glad you guys all enjoyed it.
Whoa! Not all of us enjoyed Batman, man.
Well,
I
you
hated that game.
all right. Well, everybody but Dan. Okay, I'm just glad it made Lauren come out of her shell a little bit because she was so invested into finding out what was going on and all the storylining behind it. It made it really interesting for me. And then number 1 would be Quantum Break. I don't. It was an Xbox exclusive when it came out, and I was trying to get Tunza to play it the entire time when we were at work at Buybacks. I was like, dude, are you gonna play Quantum Break yet? He's like, I'll get to it. I'll get to it.
I got to the end.
Yeah, he got to the end and wouldn't finish it because I wanted to talk to him about the end because it ended so crazy, and he just wouldn't finish it, and he just broke my heart and let me down back then. And then
Like
I finally got him to play it like 7 years later. So yeah, that's my favorite games that we played.
Yeah, it's funny because like we have a collective group, and then there's like games that which kind of leads into the next category that I forgot we even played on this podcast. And it's only been a year, or I just didn't enjoy it and I wiped it from my memory. So we are going to go into a more gloomy thing. I'm not going to say hated games because I haven't hated anything we've played, but just a least favorite game or games that don't really stick with us. I've also broken this into a monthly episode and a short episode, so I will start with the monthly one, which was Cadence of Hyrule. This only hurts me because I had high expectations going into it. Started to play it and wasn't really fond of it. I was kind of like, it is what it is. I do like the music. It got me into like listening to like Zelda lo-fi hip hop beats while I was at work. But it just didn't. It gets talked so highly of, and I just didn't feel like I had that same experience with it. So I guess it's just not for me, is how that one would break down. And then my least favorite game, and this is, if I had to rank every game we played on the podcast, this would always be at the bottom, and it is Donut County. I cannot stand this game. I said it in our episode, there's a million other games that does similar things that are just so much better and have so much charm. I felt like this game should be free to play or pay me to play. I just didn't enjoy it at all. The only redeeming factor from this that like I said, it's not a hated game for me, was the character interactions are good, but outside of that, I don't ever need to see or play that game ever again. And that's those are my 2. I don't have like anything else really. Like I couldn't even make like a top 3 least favorite. Like I don't even know what else I would add. But what about you, Tenza? You have least favorite games?
Yeah, I guess it'd both be. There's two of them. I guess I also did not like Cadence of Hyrule. Uh, it's not for me. I struggled. I can't keep a beat. It's a game. I have Crypto the Necro Dancer. It's always been in my backlog. I know not to play it now because of this. Because I struggled. It was the first game that I got. Look, I got mad. Like, and then it's funny because I got mad because I struggled for a while, and I came back the next day and beat it in 30 minutes, like what I needed to do, like finish the game. And it just, I don't know, I'm not a music type of person unless it's like a Guitar Hero, or what was that game, Thumper or Bump or whatever the one you used to be able to put your own Spotify playlist and play little car thing on the track. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I remember that game, but I don't know what it's called.
I don't know what it's called. Then the next game is Nero, and that's more or less because, like Lauren loved this game for like the art. I understand exactly.
Mhm.
I had technical issues, which made me upset. I kept having to like resize the screen. Things weren't moving. I got launched in the air a couple times. I had to restart things, or puzzle didn't trigger. But like when she was talking about this bioluminescent scenes, I wish there was more of those. And
Mhm.
the story to me was told weird because it was like a walking similar mix of puzzles. So like the story is told in like weird chunks, like after you already got out of the zone. Like in the sense of like, oh, like you should have been told as you were doing the puzzles or in the background, or clues to the puzzle should have been story related. But like that's the same thing. Is like you can't really hate these games when they're like single developers making these indie titles to tell a story of like a personal like tale through them, or like however they see things. So it's no hate towards these games. It's just not for my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea.
I know we talked about it in the Nero episode, but the two fixes to that game that could make that like game of the year quality would be make it VR,
Mhm.
and instead of like the puzzles being scattered around, you can do them in whatever order. Make it more like linear. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then tell the story that way. I think it would be easier than getting like a chunk here and then you get like something that actually should have been before that because you just wandered off.
That was my issue. Is like the story was like told in like weird ways, and like the puzzles were like you kind of had to look for them. Like I missed puzzles. Like we were talking about, there's like stuff you guys did I didn't do. I feel like there was like one or two I did you guys didn't do, and it was like just weird. I felt like for a game like that's like a walking simulator s style, it should have been more linear.
Just make it VR. I think we talked about that in the episode. But all right, Lauren, do you have any least favorite games?
I hate to say this, but also Donut County. And my biggest thing with that game is that I just think that it should be a mobile game and free to play.
I played it on my phone
Yeah,
on
I
our drive
feel
back from somewhere.
yeah, I just feel like it would translate better as a mobile game. The whole time I was playing it, I was like, why is this not just, just a mobile game? Why does this need to be on, the PC or whatever?
I wasn't on Game Pass. That was my biggest question after we played it.
Right. It just, I don't know, it just felt like there was not enough to it that does anything different, like Corey said. Like, there's other games that do the same things much better. The little characters and stuff were cool, like, don't get me wrong. It's just, I would have preferred to not pay for it. So, that's, I think, the only one that I really, disliked. I think most of them I was okay with, at least. That I liked more than that. I'm just scrolling through real fast to see if there's anything. Yeah, all the other ones were okay. Like, my other mention would be Piku Niku, and only because I feel like it was very forgettable. Like, I couldn't even remember what the game was, like, what gameplay looked like until I looked it up.
I forgot it the last episode.
Yeah, well, we were like, this is our second Devolver Digital game. We're like, well, what's the other one?
Yeah.
Right. I feel like all the other ones, I can at least picture them and, kind of what they were, but, that one I couldn't picture at all. It was very forgettable. So I would say that's probably my only other mention. I liked most of the other games.
All right, Dan, let's hear your least favorite games.
So my least favorite of like the main ones would probably have to be Cadence of Hyrule. Like just because of how it was. Like I felt like it could have been so much better. Like I felt like it just dropped the ball. For the smaller ones, like the halfway
Short
podcast one.
games.
Yeah, the short games. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. I would have to go with the 3/4 home, just because I really didn't like that one. I felt like it was so boring because that was the one where you just drive and you just hold down like the arrow or D or whatever it was to just drive by, and then you just pick your options. And I wish we'd never even played that one, to be honest with you.
I don't know. That one's weird for me because I do like the story, but I was like, does it
I
even
like
need
the
to be a
story,
game?
but yeah.
Like the whole car thing is so weird. Like I get it's a part of the story, but it's like what? Like I don't know. I would agree with that one. That one's pretty rough.
I just wish like I don't know. I wish I had like any idea of what would make it better, but I really don't.
I would have told you an end.
That too, I guess.
Yeah, like it was open ended at the end. It was like, why?
Yeah. It just I don't know.
Sorry, Lauren.
Oh, that's okay. I was going into that one blind too. I just knew what the game was. That was
I mean,
about it.
I like the story, like you said. I understand when you're just driving, like you're holding D.
Not
in
even
your
like
space
driving,
bar.
you're just holding a button the whole time, just
And
going, and it's like,
I
oh.
was trying to figure out if like the choices really mattered because it was either like be a dick or be a less of a dick.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like
it was just weird.
yeah, it's like be like mutual, like where you're kind of like not trying to start a fight, but you're like underhanded, like kind of an asshole, or it's like just be blatant asshole.
Yeah.
Any other ones, Dan, or was that it?
No, those were yeah, those two were the only ones that like really struck a chord with me. I feel like everything else was either I really liked or it was just okay.
All right, Tony, what is your least favorite games we've played on this podcast?
I was not a part of any of the short games, so mine's one of the main ones. I just, I really just didn't like the blob all that much. I felt like I was a 3-year-old trying to color the world, and I don't know. I just didn't care for it. I don't know.
That's
That is the game,
exactly
though.
what it was.
Yeah, and I didn't care for that. Give me something to shoot. Give me something to drive. Give me a puzzle to solve. Not let's color the fucking world.
All right,
That's
all right, Dan. We gotta. You heard him. You gotta pick. You gotta pick a game like the Blob now.
Yeah.
Any other ones you wanted to mention from anyone else, or can we move into the future plans for this podcast?
I like to go to the future.
Sure, I'm down for the ride.
Yeah, ready to go to the future?
Yeah.
All right,
I'm
so
buttoned up.
it is our 1 year, and we're looking into year 2 now, and what we're looking to achieve heading into the future for this podcast. One, I'm thankful and grateful and proud of us for sticking something out for a year because we are not good at that. So I just wanted to point that out. So yet again, thank you guys. But one of the biggest future plans for this podcast, we're going to continue with the structure and we might kind of modify it along the way. But the biggest change is we are going to be turning this into audio and video format. Hopefully by the end of the year. That is the goal. We're in the process of constructing a room in our garage so that we can record a video format and upload that to YouTube, as well as still releasing the audio formats as we do on Spotify and Apple. So that's pretty exciting. I mean, there's a lot of work that's going to go into that, but to have a double format would be fun. But
It'd be nice to have like actually look at you guys while we play, or
Yeah.
not while we play, but while
While
we
we
talk,
talk.
and that we can like put clips out and like I don't know. It's I think audio is fine for like daily commutes and people who are like at work, but video is always nice to share and like clip out. And,
I
you know,
think
you could show somebody a clip easier than you could show somebody
Audio
an audio.
file.
Yeah.
for sure. I feel like also some people just prefer video because it's more personable. You
I
can
agree.
see who's talking, whose, opinions that you care about. You can see their actual reactions and that they're not being fake in their opinions, I guess. You could see more of like a passion, like body language, stuff like that. I feel like maybe that's why some people are like, "Hey, you guys got a video? Can I watch it?"
Yeah.
Not yet, but we're getting there.
Also, think a cool thing is we can make a set our own,
Mhm.
like design it to be like nerd lag. Because like right now we have to paint the picture with our voices and me stumbling over words. Just think of me running upstairs as I talk. That's for
um,
you audio listeners out there.
but yeah, I think just overall, I think it's going to be fun. We'll have our own like set basically, so we can decorate it to be our own. We'll feel more passionate, and then we can read each
Mhm.
other's emotions. So like
Mhm.
when somebody gets super hype about something, then like the people in the room can feel that energy. So I'm excited for like some of that stuff, like this see the passion and feel the passion. And it might lead into more in-depth conversations. Not that we don't have them here, but I just think it's a better possibility. Probably easier to get distracted as well. So could be a negative side of things as well.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
think we're
like
gonna
whenever
get a
we
little
play,
bit more
like
distracted. Yeah.
But
Well, instead of cutting out dead air, you might have to take out like long rambles.
Right. Right.
that's true. I think that's pretty much it for the podcast. Unless you guys can think of anything else. I mean, that's the major thing. Still going to be doing 2 episodes a month.
We're
Tony's
gonna
actually gonna be in all of the episodes.
Yeah, I'll be
now?
in all the episodes now, so you guys get to enjoy me even more. Aren't you excited?
darn.
except for the one he's already bailed on.
Yeah, already. One was
I
already
mean,
predetermined.
yeah,
That family reunion is set up last year, so
yeah, unfortunate
Yeah.
timing, but
unfortunate
it
timing,
happened.
but it happens. It happens. We got everything on schedule now, so after this one, we'll be in every single one of them.
So another thing we're trying to set up for the podcast is finding a way to maybe bringing it on like guests. So being like either people we know, other creators, or anything in a way to build the community up, bring somebody on, share some spotlight. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, share the
Well,
spotlight.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But that's something we were talking about. We don't know how to do it. It was just something we discussed. And I thought maybe if somebody has an idea or would like to do that, they can get in contact, I guess.
Yeah, reach out to us if you want to be on an episode, play a game with us. We could start short games if that's easier for you. Or if you hear we're doing a monthly game that you're really passionate or excited about, like reach out to us and you could play alongside us and we'll figure it out as we go.
We also have a Discord to discuss anything we've played, and we're trying to get in more vocal and talk about that. But we announce each game before the next time, so there's plenty of time to join in.
correct.
All right. I think that's it for podcast goals. I want to go into like our personal goals, and you don't have to get super personal if you don't want to, but just as kind of an idea of where you're heading, either like content creating, your personal life, whatever it is. So I will start and kind of just lead you guys. We'll go around like we did with the games and stuff. So my personal goals is to continue my GameCube challenge. I've been getting better at editing them to get them out like weekly instead of like these huge gaps. So that's my goal, is to have a new episode every Monday. So that's a personal goal there. I also want to get better at networking, and this is something I've already started on like Twitter and stuff. But me and Lauren just went to a convention yesterday, and I don't think I talked to like a single person that wasn't a vendor. So
Yeah.
trying to get a little better at networking in person. Not that like I'm shy or anything. I don't know. Sparking up a conversation is weird sometimes when you're just kind of roaming around and looking at stuff. And my last personal goal is just being a better headspace. So recently I had a day where I didn't stream because I was just having a mental health day where it was just like I was just kind of down in the dumps. But just trying to look at life a little bit more optimistic, moving into the future, and just I don't know. Don't let me get so down on myself when like one little bad thing happens where I just make it like kind of spiral, where I just have myself a bad day and then it carries over for a couple days where I'm just like not motivated or don't really want to do anything. So I just want to work on just being better mental health wise. I know everyone kind of battles with that, but that's my goal for the immediate future. I may add something later, but right now those are my personal goals. So what about you, Tunza? You have any personal goals?
I have many, but the ones I more or less kind of try to focus on is I want to do like how he has the GameCube challenge. I want to find something that's my own that I can work on like weekly, be it talking about games and bringing back like tons of talks where I was just weekly talking about games and news coming out. Or just finding a series or something that I can work on towards like having more goals that I can actually obtain and work towards. Always like same as the networking, it's just talking to more people. Like I became I wouldn't say distant. I talk to a lot of people, but like I don't keep it like if I'm around you I talk to you, but outside of that it's very difficult. I talk to the core group. Interacting online, having a social presence via Twitter or Instagram, or just playing in game chat. I don't do that anymore either. And streaming 20 hours a week at twitch.tv/MattAKTunza. Or not week, month,
I was about to say, I was like,
Yeah, man, you're
whoa.
gonna turn that into a part-time
No.
job?
Yeah, I wish. I could probably pay better than my job.
Probably.
But no, just 20 hours a month. Sorry, I was like zoned out, like when you try to collect your thoughts and everything drips out, and you're like, oh shit, gotta scoop it. That's my brain.
It is your brain.
Yeah, but I think that's it, maybe.
All right, Lauren, do you have any personal goals you want to talk about?
Personal goals. That's a toughie. I have been working on our little logo. I want to clean that up to get that finally completely finished. I'm not by any means an artist, guys, but I'm trying here. Pay off some debt. I'm still working on getting a new car. I refuse to buy another used car. I've had so many, more than anybody probably should at this point in their life, but my car runs okay. I plan on just passing that along, maybe to Tunza when I get a new car. So that's my goal currently. And I want to get the garage cleaned out so we can get started on that room. And I've been working on blog post. Gotta just get some images and stuff and get that finalized. But those are my main current goals. I'm sure I'll get more that I'll think of, but right now that's kind of where I'm at.
That's where I was at with it too. Just kind of like immediate stuff that is like right in my vision currently. What about you, Dan? You have me the most intrigued because I never know what's going on in your life.
You guys live in the
no
same
one ever knows
house.
what I'm doing in my life.
He didn't even
I
know
don't
we
even
were
know what I
doing
do with my
today.
life. Yeah, I had no idea. This is all brand new to me. I don't even know we did a podcast. This is weird.
He's been hanging out.
Anyways,
A podcast?
yeah, I know, I misspoke. I'm sorry. Jeez, I was hoping no one would call me out. But
You
for my
guys call
goals,
me
I don't-
on everything.
This is about you, Tunza. Okay, this is about me right now. For my goals, I don't like to really like set goals for myself because if I don't do that goal, then I'm like, oh, I didn't do the goal, and I have to be upsetty with myself about it for the next like 2 months, and I don't want to do that. So I don't know. I kind of just want my goals to be kind of like super broad, so it's like kind of impossible to not do it. I don't know. I just kind of wanna get back into streaming, at least like a little bit more than I do now, because I don't even know the last time I streamed. Probably like 3 weeks ago, maybe.
And I gave you an
It's like,
opportunity to stream today, and you said no.
do you realize what game you asked?
Yeah, I do realize that, but still.
No one wants to play that shitty game.
It's the only game that we both have, man.
I doubt that's true, but anyways,
It's,
back
it's
to me.
Warzone for anybody.
Yeah, it's Warzone, and no one wants
Yeah.
to play Warzone. Let's be honest here. Just work on more content-based things, because it's like if I'm not at work, I just sit in my room and I do nothing with my days off, and I usually have 4 days off every week. So it's like I waste those days, and I really need to be more productive with my days. So that's kind of the only thing I really want to start doing more of.
I would agree with that last one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I second that.
Yeah.
Especially if you have 4 days off, man.
Yeah.
But all right, Tony, you have any personal goals you want to talk about?
So I'm trying to develop my YouTube channel. I finally have one video that hit over 1,000 views. So that was very encouraging for me. I'm trying to figure out another video to put out. I don't want it to feel rushed or feel like a chore while I'm doing it. I just want it to be fun and genuine and helpful. I'm trying to stream regularly on a regular basis, just for like, even if it's for like an hour or two. Just like every day or every other day, just to continue to keep getting my myself out there. Trying to be different than other people, trying to just make my brand so I don't have to go to a regular 9 to 5 every day. I would like to sit and play video games and then go to the gym for my job. Like that would be awesome. In the future, I haven't told you guys this, but I'm gonna tell you guys now. Within the next 10 to 15 years, I would like to develop my own video game. And that is a personal goal that I definitely want to accomplish and to achieve.
Well, that's cool. Is that
Good.
like going
Yeah.
through school or trying to self-teach yourself, like teach yourself?
Trying to like self-teach myself, trying to, if I can get, backing from like either through my YouTube channel or my streaming to where like I can turn that into a full-time job within the next couple of years, I definitely think that I can save money and work still part-time and have enough money to develop a video game in the next 10 to 15 years.
It's a pretty big goal, but I hope you
Yeah.
achieve it.
Me too.
Thanks, yeah.
All right, so that is it for personal goals. Now we're going to talk about our brand, Nerdlag. If you didn't know already, Nerdlag Podcast, like the game club, is part of a bigger brand, which is all 5 of us together, and it's just a community basically for anything nerdy. In our plugs, we talk about it, but for like video games, anime, TV, movies, comics, whatever you can think of, we want it to be a safe, collective community that you can come and talk to like-minded people. So we have goals that we're going to try to achieve to kind of grow that platform and maybe eventually become sort of an umbrella for smaller creators as kind of just like a stepping platform to kind of get out there a bit. We know the struggle, so it's kind of the idea of like helping someone that we feel has potential, but that maybe is just struggling to get their name out. We've all been there. It's discouraging. That's just kind of where it is, but we want to have a community where you can come in, you can talk to people, play games with people, even just sit down and like watch an anime as a collective. Me and Lauren went to Techo, which is in Pittsburgh, and they had like rooms, like panel rooms, where they just threw an anime on. People sat in the room together, watched the anime, talked about the anime. Super cool. It's just a chill little session. I'd like for us to be able to do something like that. So we're going to talk about some of just the goals for Nerdlag to get us there. And I will start, and you guys can kind of just talk and add anything else as I go through these list of goals. But the first one is we have launched a NerdLag website by the time that this episode is out. So we have a website up now where there's anime blog posts. You can follow us on like my GameCube challenge. You can listen to the podcast on there. You can join our Discord from there. We can even put our live streams on there, so you can just watch them all in one place. So we're trying to just make everything like easy. You'll get some news about video games or whatever Tunza decides he wants to write about that week. Probably mostly video games, huh?
Yeah, I'm just gonna do like weekly updates on like things. I'm gonna also start putting those in the Discord as well, at least because then I can link like YouTube videos and like have like a full on like discussions in there because like we have the tabs in like already started. We just don't post as much as I would like to.
So the website's exciting. That is what Lauren was talking about when she was talking about her blog. So that's where they're going to go. Was there anything else you wanted to talk about? Do you want to give a little spoiler for what the first blog is going to be about?
Yeah, I guess. So I was going through, I was trying to kind of think of like anime topics, and as somebody that watches a ton of anime, I find myself sometimes struggling to find something to watch that I haven't watched or rewatched multiple times, falling in a certain category. So, a big one that I search is like romance anime. I don't want to say there's not a ton of it, but a lot of articles share the exact same ones, always. Every time I go through them, I struggle to find a lot of different ones than what are posted. So, the first one's gonna be top 5 romance anime that I think you should watch. I kinda tried to do a spectrum of like super popular ones that are brand new, and some older ones that aren't maybe as common. Just break them down without giving big spoilers in my opinions of them, a little bit of what they're about and why I like them. So it should be pretty good. I think every time I'm just gonna pick a top 5 about whatever genre. I haven't decided what the next one will be, but I've just kind of been picking whatever I'm into at the moment because I want my writing to reflect that. I don't want to feel like I'm forcing myself into something. I want to feel like I'm really passionate about, sports anime this week or this month. So I'm gonna write about sports anime or, horror stuff or whatever it may be. So that's kind of where I'm at.
You ever need to bounce any ideas? I watch probably just as much as you.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know. I'll definitely, if I need to, I'll be
I mean,
reaching out to you.
I guess that's another thing for Nerd Like. Me and Lauren are talking about eventually turning some sort of content about anime manga. We just don't know what or how to do it yet, but the blogs is a start.
Yeah, definitely. Eventually, I want to do some kind of like video format with me and Tunza just going on because out of the collective group, me and him are the anime people. So why not find a way to add to this group of people having anime stuff instead of just video games? Because right now, the podcast is the biggest thing we do, and it's video game related,
Yeah, it's our flagship.
right?
All right, our next plan or goal, which has kind of already happened, but not really, and this is a Dan thing. We are starting a Nerd Lag TikTok, so we already started it.
Oh
We
my-
have not posted anything yet,
Yeah, Dan.
but Dan is going to be kind of in charge of that. So we've kind of put him. I wouldn't say like it's on him only, but he said that he would be able to do it. So that's kind of what our goal is in the future, adding maybe clips of the podcasts that are informative or funny, and then if we play any games together, we could just put little clips on there or whatever. Is there anything you want to talk about for that, Dan? Anything you thought over? Maybe new plans?
No, I don't think I really have anything to say about it. I mean, it's already up. It should pop up on TikTok. It's just at NerdLag. If any of you fine fellows that listen to this want to go give it a follow. That would be helpful. Yeah, I don't know. It would mainly just be, as of right now, would just be like game clips from the games we play with the audio. Well, some parts of the audio from our podcast, like over it. So that's about the only plans for right now. I'm sure there'll be other stuff whenever we move this. Well, not move it, but also do this in a video format. It would probably have some other kind of clips there as well, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think it'd make it easier to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so look forward to our TikTok as we try to grow that and upload clips and things. The next thing we are planning on doing is what is tentatively called lag parties. This is something that Tunza has taken charge of. Basically, this is when we all play games together, breaking it up into like kind of like a funny montage or just kind of our collective thoughts when we're playing together. In just a fun episode, basically like probably a shorter video, I would assume, Tunza.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what we can get and like people's times. Because I mean, that's gonna be the hardest is to get everybody together to play. It might be the whole group, it might be one or two. I thought of making like just have fun. We can add a little challenges, things like inside betting a little bit, but between us because we can turn them into.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know what we'll bet, but like just something to make it a little bit more of a challenge or something, or put us against so we can pair up, and that will also be found on like our YouTube channel at Nerdlag, and then I'm assuming most of those can be cut down and put in clips for the TikTok and Instagram. I mean, the future is just to have content weekly in like all spectrum.
We just want to get to you more than twice a month.
Yeah. And if anybody, and like, so like the cool thing about like Lag Party in the direction we're kind of going is those aren't limited just to us playing. We're also going to try to bring in ways for community to join in things.
So should be fun. We still got to figure out the ins and outs of things, but those are the more immediate things. Lauren touched base with anime content already. Her and Tunza will be tackling that as they figure it out between themselves. Lauren also mentioned that she's working on a logo, but Tunza also worked on a logo for Nerdlag. So
Yeah.
we'll be probably using both, just in different formats. We'll figure out a main logo and then kind of maybe like an alternate version. We'll sort of just
more or
kind of
less
figure
trying
that
to-
out.
Instead of like a logo, more or less like a mascot.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Like, and it's something we can put in and then we can brand and it can be done as like anything, even like fan art or like used in different ways. Like, so it's not just like one solid design. I mean, the theme is there, but then the designs are different because
Right.
just a way where if you see it, you know it's us.
yeah.
So yeah, more like a mascot.
Yeah.
We also, and this is very early stage, so we haven't really touched this all that much. We are going to eventually start making some sort of merch. That may start as small as just like stickers or, just little postcards, things that are small, to eventually like t-shirts, hoodies, long sleeves, beanies, whatever we think we can get out there, what you guys want, preferably. Like, I don't want to make things that nobody wants, so if you're a beanie person and want some beanies, let us know. But this is very early. We got to figure this all out. Just something I want to mention because it is an upcoming goal that we want to achieve. And I think I have everything there, unless Tony has anything that he has for Nerdlag.
Nope, I'm good.
Okay, I think that's pretty much it. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about for this episode, or we good?
I guess a little bit of a roundtable. I'm happy everybody's improving. And the structure is definitely helping, and everybody's personalities are coming through. More talking from everybody, so I'm happy. We're becoming a podcast, guys. We did it for a year.
Yeah.
We're working. Like it's a full steam ahead. It's only getting better, and it shows. Like I'm happy. I'm proud of everybody too.
All right. Well, that was the end of year one for us. So yet again, thank you for sticking with us through this. We have some plans heading into year 2. We're excited. We hope you stay along with us. And let's move into year 2 with some momentum. And we'll see you guys for the next podcast.
Hey,
Bye.
Later.
See ya.